Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Bab Fashion's YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button to subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And also do not forget to put on the notification bell so that you get notified once I post a new video. So today we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful beaded Ankara gown. It also has a cape. You can see me attaching the cape to the neckline, and you can see the lace trimmings on the left and the right, and my bead is running from one side of the trimming to the other side, and I also have my lace fabric sitting on the center front. So without wasting much of your time, let's jump right into this beautiful tutorial. Thank you so much. See you on the cutting table. So for this project, these are the materials I'll be using. This is my Ankara fabric, and then my lace fabric that will be at the center front there. And then here I have this applique, that's, you can call it trimming, that will be sewing on the sides. And then these are the beads I'll be using also. So to get started, the measurements we need is your shoulder measurement, bust measurement, waist measurement, hip measurement, the length of this gown. So I'm going to go ahead and fold with the biggest measurement. Since it's a gown I'm making, the biggest measurement I'm working with here in this case is 50 inches, which is the hip. So I'm going to be folding quarter of the hip measurement plus my sewing allowance. So I'll do that and show us. So I'm going ahead to fold my fabric. I folded both for my back and for the front. The one underneath is for the back and the one up is for the front. You'll take note that you'll notice that the one underneath, which is the back, is wider by 1.5 inch. This is going to be my zip allowance. So just go ahead and rule this line here. So I went ahead to fold my fabric. I remember I said the hip I'm working with is 50. 50 divided by 4, that's 12.5. So I have 15.5 inches here in all. That's aside from my back that has a zip allowance of 1.5 inches. So this will accommodate both my sewing allowance. And then the length I have here, I have a length of 60. That's my client's length is 60, and I have a length of 60, about 63 inches. That's plus my hemming allowance. So here now, this is my shoulder line or the starting line. So all markings will be starting from the center front here. Maybe I should just fold this in so that we don't get confused by seeing this. Let's fold in this part, and then when we're done, we can open it up. So now my zip allowance is folded in. So here is my center front. I'll mark 3 inches here. So I'll go ahead and mark 8 inches. Half of our shoulder measurement is 8.5. I'll go ahead and mark 8 inches to create my shoulder slant. So on this 8 inches mark, I'll come down by 1 inch. I'll slant it to this 3 inches. This is just the standard for having our shoulder slant. So having done that, now half of her shoulder measurement 8.5 plus half inch for joining the sleeve, so that will bring me to 9 inches. So can you see the slant will slant all the way to the 9 inches. So just continue the slant, so that way at this point it will increase a little. This is about 1 inch and a bar. It's not even up to 1/8 of an inch. So next I'll enter the chest line, and the chest line is 8.8. So how did I come about 8.8? The bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, that gives you the chest line automatically. So here is my 8.8. So from the shoulder line here too, I'm going to mark the waistline. The waistline is 17. The hip line is 26. the full length I'm working with is 60, and then I have my hemming allowance of 2 inches. So I'll go ahead to straighten out these lines. So here we are. So on this chest line here, I'll go ahead to reconfirm my 9 inches I have here, which is half of the shoulder measurement plus half inch for joining the sleeve. So that is 9 inches here. And then I'll connect a straight line from the shoulder line. And then here we are. So now we have the chest line, which is also the armhole line. So at this point, I'm going to enter a quarter of the bust measurement. So you want to curve your armhole now. So I'll get the bead point of this armhole by folding my tape into 2 like this. So here at this point, I'll come in by half inch first, and then take it back to the shoulder tip like this, and then place my curve and connect to the bust measurement. So here, this will serve as the back armhole. So still at this midpoint here, I will come in by 3/4 of an inch, and then also take it back to the shoulder tip here too, and then curve it to meet the bust measurement. So this is the back armhole, and this will be the front armhole. So having done that, I'll come to the waistline and enter quarter of the waist measurement. Quarter of our waist measurement is 9 inches. On the hip line, I'll also go ahead to enter quarter of the hip measurement, which is 12.5. I'm going to bring that same 12.5 down to the hemline here. That's the hip measurement, I brought it down to the hemline. So having done this, I'm just going to go ahead and connect like this. So now this is the actual measurement. So I'll go ahead and add my 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Here in this case, I'll be using 2.5 because I'll be using half inch to turn my line, and I'm going to be doing French finishing. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and then 2.5 all the way down. So you want to blend all the curved parts. So here the neckline I'm going to be using a neck width of 4 inches, and then a neck depth for the back of 1.5. So this is the neckline for the back. So for the front, I'll be using a neck depth of 5 inches, and then of course the same neck width of 4 inches. So I'm just going to bring down, let's connect it this way. So here we are. So I have my my zip allowance hidden inside. So to take out the bulge at the center back, I need to take out my zipper bulge so that this dress does not fold at the back. So here I have my waistline here. On this waistline, remember my zip allowance is 1.5 inches. I will go in by half of an inch, and then I'll slant it to the neckline. Okay. So, and then I'll also slant it to 1 inch above the hip line. So here is the hip line. I'll go up by 1 inch and then slant it to 1 inch above the hip line. So I'll be cutting this and throwing away. This is to eliminate bulge from the back of the gown. So, okay, you see this aside. So now we'll go ahead and cut out our back piece first, because the neckline for the back is higher and the armhole for the back is also smaller. So we're going to just go ahead and cut out the back first. So this is me cutting out the neckline for the back. And take note that I'm cutting off from the zip allowance now. So the neck width is affecting the zip allowance. So you can see that the back neckline is wider because of the zip allowance. So by the time we close the zip allowance, the neck width will become the same. So I'll go ahead and cut on the armhole here. So I'm cutting on the back armhole. And then I'm also going to be cutting on the sewing allowance I added. So having cut out the back piece, I'm going to just put it down like this, and then I'll go ahead to retrim the front neckline and the front armhole. So now the front armhole. So I have my back piece and I also have the front piece. So you can see the back neckline is higher while the back armhole too is narrower. That is the front is smaller. So now the next thing we're going to do is to cut out the lace that I'll be having at the center front there. So here I want this lace to be a width of 7 inches. So I'm going to have a width of 7 inches, and then the length of this lace is going to be from the front neckline down to the hem of the gown. So I'm going to cut out a width of 7 inches and then the length I have here. So I'll confirm the length and cut it out. Lace, you can see that is 7 inches wide, like I said, and then the length I have here, it's above my length, but that's fine. I can always trim it out. I just use the whole length of the lace. It's about 60 inches and the length I have here is 55 inches. So now for the center back, I'll just slash it opened. Remember, I'll be having a zip here, and then I'll also have a vent at the back. So having done this now, I'll keep this aside and then show us how to make the sleeve. So here I have my basic sleeve. I'm just going to come down and mark. Okay. So I have my basic sleeve. I'm just going to come down from the cap by 6 inches. So at this 6 inches here, I'm just going to draw a line and then get the midpoint. So here is the midpoint. I'll just fold my tape into two. And then draw a line downwards like this. So at this center line, I'm going to cut through. You notice that the sleeve is a bit flared. So after cutting through like this, I'm going to open up this way. and then I'll also open up this way. So I want to have something like this. So now I'll place my fabric and show us how to cut the sleeve. So I've gone ahead to fold to place my fabric. For this sleeve, I'm going to have two pieces for each of them because this sleeve is going to have joining here. Can you see? I'm opening up this side so it cannot be cut on fold. As much as we want it flat, we don't want it too wide. So this is what I'm doing. So this is it. So I just opened up here. Let me take the measurement I have here. I opened up here by 7 inches, and that's fine. So this is my 7 inches. Go ahead and pin it. So I'll be adding ½ inch here, which I'll be using for my sewing allowance. I'll be using to join this. And then I'll also add my sewing allowance for the sleeve here. So I'll add 1 inch. It's a flat sleeve, so you don't want to add too much so that it doesn't change the shape. So here, ½ inch. And then I'll come here to create this shape here that I have. I'm going out, so I'll be starting from the down part here. So they didn't tell us our sleeve, my sleeve length. The sleeve length I'm using is 24 is 24 inches, so it's a long sleeve. So now I have one side of the sleeve. Can you see? This is what it looks like. So I'm going to place on my fabric and cut one more for this sleeve and cut two pieces for the other side because this is just one side. So I need 3 more of this. So after cutting my sleeves, this is what I have. I have 4 pieces in all. So here is the center front of my sleeve. On this center front part, I will go up by 5 inches. So from this 5 inches, I'll curve it back to meet this side here. Let me use my free hand so that it gives me what I'm looking for. So I haven't done this, I'm going to cut out this side. So this is what my sleeve will look like this. Can you see? So I'm going to join these sides together, these two sides together. So here is a little higher and this place is going down. So to give it that standing effect here, I'm going to be using gum stay. I'm going to be using gum stay of like 2 inches around here and then the same thing on this side, but that will be on my lining because I'll also be cutting lining for this outfit just the same way I'm going to cut lining for the bodies also. So now I'll show us how to place the beads in front. This is my center front here. Can you see my crease line is very obvious? So I'm going to be placing my lace. I also went ahead to iron the lace very well so that it's exactly in the middle here. So I'm going to be placing the lace this way, maintaining the center front. I'm going to be using my hemming gum to stick it down. So I'll just place the hemming gum under like this. You want to make sure that the hemming gum is exactly at the tip of the lace. So I'll do this all the way down. So I'm done pressing my hemming gum, and you can see it is completely dissolved. You can no longer see any whitish stuff under, and my lace is sitting on it. It's no longer going up. So I did that all the way down to the hem. So now for this trimming, I'm going to be placing it this way. So I'm going to be pinning this trimming like this. You want to make sure that you are covering the lace where the lace is. Just going to place it this way, and then I'll pin it all the way. I'll also pin this side too. I'm going to do it all the way down to the hem, just like I've done for this side also. So I've pinned my trimming already. Can you see what we have? So now I'll take to my sewing machine. Take note that this is just on my main fabric without the lining. I'll take to my sewing machine and I'll be sewing with a champagne gold thread. That's a matching thread. I will sew on this line and then double stitch. So I'm going to be sewing on this side and sewing on this side, this and this. You can use your gum, your uhu gum or your gun glue to gum this, but remember that when you wash it can always go off. So I would prefer to sew it down, just stitch it down neatly in a way that it will not even be visible. So I'm just going to do that and come back and show us. So this is what I have after stitching down the applique. You see, then I went ahead to press it. It's laying flat. So now it's time for us to fix the beads. So I have this very tiny beading needle, and I've gone ahead to knot the end. I made sure to double my thread. You want your thread to be very strong so that this doesn't cut easily. Okay, so here I knot the thread very well so that this will not pass through my fabric. So, and take note that everything I'm doing is directly on the fabric. My lining has not been fixed yet. So now to fix these beads, I'm going to come down from the neckline here. The first one, I'll come down from the neckline by 1 inch. That's around here like this, at this point here. And then I'll fix my needle from behind. You see, from this part. So I haven't brought out my needle. Then I'll go ahead and start picking my crystal beads and start fixing it into this needle. So you want to be very careful when you are doing this. You should not be in a hurry because this takes a lot of time. So I'll fix my beads as much as I need. What I need now, I need this distance here. From here to here, that's from this side to this side, I have about 6 inches. That's after sewing my applique on it. You can see this is 6 inches. So my beads, I'm going to be fixing a bead and the beads sort of here as long as 6 inches, and then I'll show us how to fix it to this side. So I'm done fixing my beads to the thread. So now I'll put my needle down from this side. The first one is it's more like straight. It's not going to fall as much as the others will fall. Okay, so I haven't fixed my thread to the back now. I'll come here and knot it very well. And I'll make sure that my thread is not showing on the right side. So I've sewn this one down. You can see I knot it really tight. I knot it about 7 times. This is so that it doesn't lose. I also knot this one properly. So I have the first one now. So the second one, I'm going to fix my needle from here. So I'll come down by like 3 of this, 1, 2, 3. and then I'll fix. Okay, let me come down. I'll come down by like two. For the second one, I'll come down by two of this and fix the next one. Then the subsequent ones, I'll be coming down by five of this before fixing them. So here's the second one here. And then I'll go ahead and fill up my beads in the thread and then show us what I have. So I've also gone ahead to fix my beads to the thread and I brought it out here. You can see I've knot it also. I've really knot it and this is fine. And you can see how this is dropping. You can see I already have the third one. Okay, and this is where the third one will be coming. That's this point here. You can see that this is dropping more than this. Okay, can you see what I'll do? So this is what I'll continue to do till I get to the end of this dress. I'll be stopping like 3 inches away from the actual hem of the dress. You don't want the bead to touch the ground. Okay, so this is it now. So I'm just going to cut out my thread and I'll continue to do this till I get to the end. So I've done beading it. Can you see how beautiful it came out? So this is just a very easy way. I didn't show us this way. I just discovered. Can you see this bead came in strands like this? All you need to do, instead of just cutting your beads and pouring it out, all you need to do is just pick the needle here and then start fixing your needle, that's fixing your needle into the hole of the beads. So this way you are able to do so much in a very short time limit or in a very short period. Can you see? So now you can see I've put, this is about 15 already, this is about 10 already inside. So imagine that if I had a long, these needles come in that very long length that's about 5 inches, so you can put so many in it. So instead of cutting it in bits and now picking one by one, so that's why we did this. And you can see it just took about 45 minutes to bead the whole of this. So that aside, so now the next thing I'll be doing, I have my lining here, and take note that all my knots are on the main fabric. So I'm going to place my lining on the right side of the fabric now, and then I'll go ahead and sew the neckline. I'll be turning it on 1/2 inch here, and then I'll also do the same thing on the hem. I'll be sewing 2 on 1/2 inch. So I made my lining 2 inches shorter. So I'll be joining the hem 2 on 1/2 inch. And then I'll also come here to close up the sides. So I'll be bringing out this gown from the armhole here. I said I was going to be making French, I was going to be using French finishing. So I'm going to close this sides also and bring out the dress from the armhole. For this neckline, I'm going to be using gum stay on the neckline. This is to give it stability. So I'm just going to apply gum stay of 2 inches here on the neckline before I go ahead and turn the neckline. So I've ironed my gum stay to the front neckline. This is what I meant by using gum stay to harden the lining here. So I'm just going to keep this aside. And now let's talk about the cape. So for the cape, I'm going to be folding my fabric this way. Take note of what I have here. This is just my leftover fabric. I'll fold it this way like this. So now I have about, this is about 30 inches. So I'm going to also fold it again this way into 4. So now here is the center. On this center, I will go in by 5 inches or 5 inches is fine. Go in by 6 inches, and then I'll come here too, and then here I'll mark like 8 inches. So this is even 8.5. I'm marking on 8.5, and then I'll connect it this way. Can you see what I did? So then I'll go ahead and mark 5 inches round. So here I have my 5 inches. First here I went in by 6 inches, and then here I went in by 8.5. So the width, let's refer to this as the width, and then this is the length. So the width is wider. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. So so this is what I have that I'll be using to form the cape. So on this side where I have this, I'm just going to slant it this way. Easy. So basically here I went up by 1 inch. So just going to slant it this way like this. So I have two pieces of this. So this is what I'll be using to form my cape. I'm going to apply gum stay to one. One will serve as the lining. So that one that will serve as the lining, I will apply my gum stay to it. Then I had to join the shoulders, and I've also fixed my zipper. Can you see? I fixed my zipper to turn the sides of this. So for the back, I created this pleated vent. So this is the only special thing. The back is just a normal back. I created this pleated vent for the back. So just in case you don't know how to achieve this pleated vent, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. I posted a video on how to create a pleated vent for your skirts or for your gowns. So I'm going to be dropping the link in the description box so that you can check it out. So now the next thing we'll do after joining our shoulders, see it has also been beaded. I've beaded it also. I used my thread to stop it. So here, so now for the sleeves, this is my sleeve. I applied gum stay to this part, and you can see I've joined this side together. So this is my lining. I also joined them together. So what I'll be doing is this. I'll place it right side facing right side like this, and then I'm going to sew on this side. So I'll sew on this side, and then I'll repeat the same thing for the second sleeve, and then show us how we'll close up the sleeve. My lining to the hem of the sleeve, can you see? But I also went ahead to add crinoline. Remember, I didn't talk about it. I just decided to add it. This is just to keep it permanently strong, because gum stay, by the time you wash it, to just become weak. So you don't want to do that. Or I don't want it to get weak, so I want it to be strong. So that's why I had to sew my crinoline. So you can see that my crinoline was sewn only to the lining. Okay, so now the next thing I'll be doing is to sew my seam allowance to this side. That's to the crinoline itself here. I'll sew my seam allowance to the crinoline, and then I'll go ahead and fold it like this and sew on my sewing allowance. The sewing allowance I added, I will sew on it all the way to this side. Take note, my sleeve will be open this way, and then I'm going to sew it like that and bring it and show us. Okay, so here we are. We're done with our beautiful gown, and it's giving. And you see, this is me pinning the cape to the neckline. I just want to identify where I want to keep this cape. I'll be using my press buttons. I'll be tacking press button to the cape and to the gown so that we can just place it at that point, and hang it. So this is at your discretion. You can decide not to use the press button. You can just decide to hang the cape on your neck. That's fine. But I feel it will be falling off, so it's just better to use press button so that it stays there. All you need to do is to open the press button, wear your gown, and then hang your cape back to the neckline. And it's advisable you use a matching color press buttons so that even when you're not wearing the gown with the cape, nobody will see the press button that is attached to the outfit. So I hope you learned a thing or two from this tutorial. If you did, please kindly like this video, share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.